Come on, yo. The slant. The slant. All right, Paulie, let's go.
All right, I'm right here. Paulie, the Latino Slant, Monday Night of the Week, episode 74, with Matt Kadish of the Salty Nerd podcast and Kamran Pasha. It's going to be an explosive first hour. Everyone share the link, all that good stuff. Tonight's membership goal, yes, 10
That's better.
memberships I want. Gift it, earn it, rub it down, share it, all that stuff.
I go.
I want 10 memberships by the end of the night. That's it. That's nothing. $2.99, starting $2.99 a month. That is the goal. Say hello in the chat. Also, too, we got a minute left. We have a poll going on right now. Make sure you vote, and I will be right back. Okay, I want to remind you guys, Latino Slant, make sure you guys are subscribed to our newsletter. We're up to edition 20 every week now. Newsletter's going on. We got about 10 seconds left. Say hello, and I'll be right back.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Paulie here on the Latino Slant. Yes, it is a Monday night. I hope everyone is doing well. Getting on in here. We love all the newcomers, early comers, and newcomers. Love it all. Also, too, we're on X. So on X, you can come and hang out with us on YouTube, because in the YouTube chat, we have a poll going on. So that is what's happening on YouTube as people are piling on in here. We only have a precious few minutes with both our guests. So I want to get right now to our guests right away. Salty Nerd Podcast. I was just on there this past Saturday, and wouldn't you know it, we were talking about the Gina Carano lawsuit going forward. Then Kamran Pasha comes up with this scoop of scoops, and I'm like, I got to connect the dots, because we were also talking about our good friend Kamran Pasha. Right now, we being myself and Mr. Matt Kadish. What's up, buddy?
Oh, not a whole lot. I like being ahead of the curve when it comes to news and information and stuff like that. So broke it on the Salty Nerd Podcast, laid it up for Kamran. I'm sure he's going to come on here and give us all types of tea to spill.
Yeah, it was really funny because you talked about the lawsuit, and it's like general news that it's going forward with Discovery. And then afterwards, when we were having lunch in Las Vegas, Korean barbecue, everybody, me and you started talking about Kamran Pasha, and we're like, "Oh shoot, man! I'm gonna connect you guys, because you guys have been disconnected for too long, my brother." And speaking of brothers of brothers, reconnecting, you know him, you love him, Kamran Pasha, everybody.
Hey, there he is,
dude.
Hey,
Great
Kamran.
It's been at least a couple of years since we've spoken, so it's wonderful to reconnect.
I don't think this is working out. I want to. There we go. Okay, that'll work out. All right.
I was gonna say
hello to each other.
Kamran, you used to be really active on the artist formerly known as Twitter, and back then, like we would DM and we would talk and stuff like that. Then you moved over to Facebook, and I'm not on.
Well,
Facebook
I was
ever.
moved over, as in Twitter removed
Yes.
for still unknown sin, still unknown.
Yes. But every time I reached out to you, you're like, "Oh, I'm so busy with my movie projects and stuff like that." That eventually I just assumed that you had moved on to greener pastures. So I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I moved on to drier pastures, but there's a little bit of green still left here on Paulie's channel.
I just want to say I've always been a fan of Kamran Pasha. I think he's an amazing person, not only creatively, but as a human being. And so it is a real pleasure to actually get to be on the stream with you again.
Well, it's great to be on. And you were one of the very first YouTubers I spoke with when I first, entered this world. And you always treated me very graciously. Sadly, not everyone did over time. And so I prefer to focus on good people like Paulie, like yourself, a handful of others who are just decent people that I want to be talking to.
Paulie, you're muted.
Zax and Maria, also great people. But listen, we only have you guys for a precious few minutes. So I want to.
I've got to be hard out in about 45 minutes. Yeah,
as well as Kadish. So, and we'll do all our other non-scoopy stuff after you guys have left. But listen, it warms my heart to reunite you, and it feels so good.
Oh, Matthew, you're still in Vegas, right? So if I come out to Vegas, we can hang out.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Sometime around the AVN, awards. Usually some bro thing happens.
Every January.
On January, mid-January, around those. Just so happens to coincide with that. So whatever.
Okay, so I'm going to connect you guys. Now, one last thing before we get into the scoop. I want to remind you guys today's membership goals in lieu of super chats, whatever, all that stuff. We love all that stuff, but I want to get up to 10 new memberships. You can gift them or you can earn them, different levels, different perks. We have a brand new exclusive video coming out tomorrow night, which is our Venom reaction. Our writer Rosa Parra is going early to go see Venom. You're going to get her video first. Okay, guys, let's jump right into it. There was the lawsuit was, they said they could continue to discovery.
This is Gina Carano's lawsuit, and she announced on her Twitter last week that the judge essentially knocked down Disney's efforts to prevent discovery. I believe they're appealing, but I don't think it's going to go far.
Yeah, so basically, the initial lawsuit, Disney tried to get it dismissed outright, and then the court said no. They're standing here. She's going forward. Then they went up the Court of Appeals up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in California, which, by the way, is the most overturned Court of Appeals in the nation. But they got it up there, and the Ninth Circuit themselves said oh, you can't dismiss this. This has standing. It's going forward, and that was kind of like Disney's last ditch effort, short of the United States Supreme Court, which I don't think it,
I don't think the Supreme Court's going to pick this one up.
Yeah, exactly. So this was basically the last ditch effort for Disney to get rid of this thing. And now that the Ninth Circuit has ruled that it is going forward, now discovery can start and all this other stuff. And so I hear Kamran has some really juicy info on what's happening next.
Okay, let's bring it up. From Kamran Pasha's own Patreon.
$5 a month to actually get this stuff, so come join.
Absolutely, man. And listen, it's not just scoops. These are when you put your scoops up, these are worth something. But also too, he covers a lot of Hollywood news. And this is from an actual Hollywood professional. Favreau speaks with Iger regarding Gina Carano.
Okay, so let me give you context here. This is from my contact inside of Lucasfilm / Disney, who I've come to trust. Not everyone has trusted, but over time, most of their reports have come out to be true, even when a lot of people didn't believe them, and sometimes took months or even over a year before some of what they said was proven right. So this is my contact side, Lucasfilm, and I leave them alone. I don't bother them. They come to me when they want to come to me or when they feel they have information, and they generally don't come to me unless they've seen the information with their own eyes, they've heard it from somebody within the system that they trust, or they say this is a widespread rumor, and I report it as such, right? So this is what they're telling me. So basically, if you want to read some of it, you can. Paulie, if you want to.
Absolutely. So our favorite Disney insider, Sparrow, has come in today with some very interesting news regarding Gina Carano's future with Star Wars and how Jon Favreau is maneuvering behind the scenes to bring her back if he can. First, Sparrow confirms that filming has begun on the Mandalorian movie, but that Jon has scheduled production to leave certain scenes until late in the process. And this is highlighted. Our source believes that this is being intentionally done to give Jon time to get Gina back in for filming, assuming that her case gets resolved in the filmmaking process and she agrees to come back.
So let me.
Can that even happen? Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, Matthew, I want to hear your perspective on this.
Mhm.
There are people on my Patreon that say she's never going to come back. She just wants to win her case in court. I don't agree with that opinion. Maybe it's right. I don't agree with it because I think she made her case in her filings, which is what is she asking for? She's asking for her job back. So she says in the filing, give me my job back. That's the remedy she's asking for, right? And so if they gave her a job back, the lawsuit goes away. That's the remedy. She's not asking for $100 million. She's asking like $75K, which is the sort of minimum needed for federal court, right? Just to get it in, right? But her thing is, I want my job back. That's what she said. And, just on a practical level, this is a very ambitious, talented woman who was getting a pretty fast rise as an actress until this drama happened, and she's been kind of knocked down. I mean, sadly, she's been working for Daily Wire and some smaller productions. She can do much bigger than that, but it hasn't really come her way because she got kind of blacklisted by the system because of these events. So it makes sense that she would want her career back. And again, we'll see what happens. But I mean, I've only had a few DM exchanges with the lady on Instagram. I don't claim to call her a friend or know her well, but she's been very polite in the 1 or 2 DM exchanges we've had. She's a very nice person. I can't claim to read what's in her mind, but I'm just saying that someone who works in this industry, who knows fellow creative people and just normal human beings, if you're given a chance, if they were to come back and say, you know what, you can have your job back as Cara Dune. We'll just move on. She doesn't need no apology. That's the apology. Because that will shake up Hollywood. That will shake up everyone that labeled her as an anti-Semite and all these horrible labels that you can't survive in Hollywood, right? Just getting her job back ends that. And then others are going to be like, hey, I got this project at Warner Brothers. Hey, Cavill will be like, hey, Warhammer. Remember, I think they used to date, right? We want to come into Warhammer. Right now, nobody can do that because she has this cloud of this ugly accusation on her, which getting her job back ends. So that's my perspective. Again, I'm not speaking for her. I don't know what's in her head. I'm just using what I think a normal human being would want based on what position she's in. So Matthew, you have some thoughts on this?
Yeah, I do. This lawsuit, it's still a couple years out, right? Like at least 3 years before it hits a court. And obviously Mandalorian and Grogu is going to go into production before that. And I also, like, we talked about this with Paulie on Saturday's show on the Salty Nerd channel. And it was basically like, if Lucasfilm decided to hire Gina back, would she actually want to work for a company that had treated her so badly in the past? And so I feel like there are a couple things going on here that kind of like need to be factored into like what could potentially happen. The first of which is that I think she wants more than just her job back. I think she wants a public apology. I think she wants to expose like the people behind the scenes who did this to her. But from Elon's perspective, and he's the guy who's bankrolling this, I think he wants to send a message that, companies or studios or whatever can't get away with canceling people for what they say online. And so I think that there's a few more factors that go into it than just, her appearing in The Mandalorian Grogu and all is forgiven. Because I feel like not only is she fighting for herself, but she's fighting for other people who could potentially be harmed by this bad behavior by studios or by executives or people behind the scenes. And I think we all know on this panel, at least, that Pablo Hidalgo was really the person behind the scenes who was pushing to kind of like get Gina canceled, right? Like that's the name that just keeps popping up with all the insiders I talk to and stuff like that. So I feel like there's more to it than just like her getting, back in Disney's good graces. I don't see how she could comfortably work for a company that like basically destroyed her career. So I feel like those are a bunch of things that need to be factored into the potential.
So let me
scenario.
Let me
read on.
Well, let me give some perspective on it. I think everything Matthew is saying is fair and it's reasonable. I don't fully agree with it, and we've already stated where I do believe if she's offered a job back, I would, as her counsel, I would like just take it, right? Because that is the apology. In Hollywood, you don't get better than that. When Scarlett O'Hara settled with Bob Chapek, there wasn't an apology. It was
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson, if you remember, that she had sued over how Black Widow was handled, right? And and they just gave her what she wanted. That was a settlement. This is the one you want. You got it. And we want all. And they announced a lovely thing, how much they like her, and they do other projects together. That's all. That's all they needed to say. In this industry, apologies are not given because it is considered loss of face. I've never seen one. I've never seen anyone apologize because it's considered loss of face, and it's bad form to ask for one. The money and the action is the apology. I've just never seen anything. But I can't speak for whether she feels compelled to work for other people. I think just getting her back in is the victory because it's defeated the system. And again, I can't speak for Mr. Elon Musk because I have some very ugly opinions of Mr. Musk because number one, he won't let me back on Twitter without explanation. Even his new regime of allegedly woke people. I mean, before I would send them like every month, can you reconsider my case? And they would respond saying that we've looked at it again and we can't let you back on for unknown reasons. Then after Elon came on, I just got one quick response saying, stop bothering us. It was literally that. It was like, we're never going to give it to you. This was Elon's people. They literally, I still have the email. It's literally response, do not ask us again. This wasn't the old guard. So that's Elon. And number one, as someone who's very pro-Palestinian, I'm seeing pro-Palestinian voices shut down by Elon Musk, who's very clearly on the opposite side of that argument and won't let people speak about it. And so I don't have any respect for the man. I don't believe he stands for these values. I think a lot of people want him to believe that. I personally experienced, and people that share certain beliefs that I have personally experienced, he doesn't support those things. And his limit of free speech is whatever he cares about. So I mean, Ms. Carano can do whatever she wants. I think trying to fight Elon's battle ain't wise business, in my opinion. So on this, Matthew and I don't see eye to eye. We'll see what happens. Matthew could be proven right. She may be given an offer, and she may say settlement offer, and she may say no. I want a public apology. I want this. But with regard to Lucasfilm, she ain't gonna come back as long as certain people are there, like Miss Kennedy. She ain't gonna come back.
Let me
real quick. What's interesting about that, Cameron, is that this lawsuit has the potential to take down Kathleen Kennedy because in discovery we could see like her emails, her internal communications, what she knew when she knew it, and what decisions that she ultimately made. And if she's exposed as a bad actor in this, that could be the catalyst of her dismissal. And so like there's that to consider as well. But I do think that when it comes to this lawsuit, like you mentioned Scarlett Johansson, I mean, that came down to basically a financial dispute over like how much money that she was owed by the studio. This is different in the sense that Gina was personally wronged and defamed and slandered in the media. And her entire career was destroyed because of this false allegation, which is actually very hypocritical by Lucasfilm, because lots of other Lucasfilm actors can freely spout their political beliefs. Yeah,
and they can reference World War II events to analogize their beliefs. Sure.
Exactly. And so I feel like Gina wants more than just her job back at this point. I feel like if anyone is positioned to break the studio and get them to publicly apologize for what actually happened, they're in a unique position to do it, because if in discovery they learn about some bad actors, they could threaten to go public with that stuff if they don't agree to apologize.
That's the leverage. But again, the specific people that canceled her, or the excuse they used to cancel her, is the red line issue, the Holocaust in Hollywood. Once that issue is brought in there, it's a red line. So to publicly apologize and say, that will bring the ire of certain people for whom that is a very useful tool to advance.
So I want to pin you guys because I don't have a lot of time with you guys.
All right, so we can keep going.
You guys basically hold on. You guys basically don't agree on that point, which is fair. We have some rock stars in the chat. I want to say hello to Scribe Light and Dutch Butters. What up? We have our members as well. We got Pete, Julissa, Manolo, Bonzo, y toda la gente. Almost 100 people live combined on the Latino Slant, growing every week. We appreciate you guys so much. I want to continue reading. Yes. As someone who has worked in production, this is exactly the kind of maneuvering producers do to get around an actor's schedule, especially when recasting the actor, excluding their character, is more trouble than it's worth. So I believe that this is what Favreau is doing based on my own experience. And second, Sparrow says that Favreau appears to have a direct conversation with none other than Disney CEO Bob Iger this week. Yeah. While our insider cannot personally confirm what they talked about, the rumor mill inside Lucasfilm is that Favreau made his case with the boss that prolonging the Carano lawsuit, as Disney lawyers are trying to do, is pointless, and that they should simply give Gina what she's asking for in the legal filings, like her job back on Star Wars. Now, obviously, this is rumor and a little kind of
my
speculative thinking, but
had pretty strong evidence that the conversation happened.
That
there was apparently a Microsoft Teams video call, a conference call. that was scheduled. And so it was on schedule that quite a few people at Lucasfilm could see. Like they have an online scheduling system, right? So you can see what the people are doing, right? And so let's just say that was available. So not just like my source saw that, others saw this meeting was. It's an unusual meeting to talk to CEO of the company, right? Of the mega corporation. So people will notice that, oh, Bob Iger and Favreau have a call on the schedule. So that was noticed, right? Apparently the call did happen, and then the rumor in the office was, that the contents thereof, because apparently it was scheduled right after Gina made her tweet. So it's certainly probable that they talked about this. It's based on time.
Okay, all right, Matt. Any thoughts on that that probable conversation, and who knows what they were talking about? Do you see Favreau kind of leaning on on Iger, wise guy style?
I don't know about leaning on him. I know that Favreau has a lot of clout within the studios because like he helped launch Marvel. He resurrected Star Wars on TV, so he has a lot of respect in the industry. And Iger, being the CEO of Disney, obviously has conversations with him and all the other studio heads and creative heads and stuff like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if he sat down with Iger and basically made his case. And we all know that from the get-go, Favreau was very much against the dismissal of Gina Carano because he had plans for her, he had plans for her character, all this other stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if he basically said, like, look, just make this lawsuit go away so that I can bring her back into the fold and everyone's happy. So I believe that.
Yeah, and so let me add something that's not in this report, but it's actually a May report that I put. It's on my Patreon. It was a scoop that I got back in May because some people DM me asking about, hey, so if Favreau is actually trying to make a case while this film is beginning production, does that mean that he set aside certain scenes to late in the process, that maybe if it's a year from now, maybe it's settled a year from now, right? That kind of thing, right? So if that's true, does he have a draft of the script? And I reported back in May that my contacts had seen a new draft of the script popped up in May that was floating around the Lucasfilm office that had Cara Dune reinserted. Cara Dune did not exist in earlier drafts and then suddenly they saw a draft floating around that people were commenting on. Hey, it's interesting. Cara's in this. Like certain scenes, when we lost our great actor, and forgive me, and I'm blanking, our wonderful actor who was with her in
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers, right? So when we lost Carl Weathers, my understanding was Weathers had certain scenes in the original. He was still alive when they started writing the script, right? God bless him. And that suddenly certain scenes that Weathers had been given in those earlier drafts suddenly had Cara Dune. And, considering the kinds of characters there were, you could probably easily replace Cara Dune as the action badass that Weathers was going to be in those scenes, right? So certainly, a draft was created maybe as a contingency plan to, I would do that. If I was in his position, and I'm like, all right, I don't know what's going to happen here. I want her back. Maybe I can get the political system on my side. It would be foolish to not to spend like an hour of my time and rewrite it, to have a version locked away in case that scenario opens up. So there is apparently a draft that exists that they could jump into for those scenes.
And I would also postulate that Favreau's looking to use this movie to kind of launch some of like his proposed series after Mandalorian, like Rangers of the New Republic, which was going to be Cara Dune's like TV show, the stuff with Mandalore with Katie Sackhoff and stuff like that. Like I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's kind of like on the sidelines that the movie is going to be positioning to kind of like spin off to, and if they can bring Cara Dune back into the fold, I think like that might be one of his big pitches to Bob, where he's like, look, we can have this really successful series. She's got a big fan base. This stuff has only made her more popular. It makes sense to bring her back into the fold.
Let me finish reading this because it's all kind of intertwined what you guys are saying here. Consider that Gina announced a few days ago that the judge in her case is allowing Discovery to go forward. These rumors fit the timing. It makes absolute sense for Favreau to use the judge's decision as a catalyst to push Iger towards settling. Kind of guys, how you just talked about. Will Iger do it? Sparrow is unsure. Our contact speculates that Iger might allow the case to continue into Discovery so that evidence can be brought out about Kennedy's, KK's, malfeasance.
Malfeasance.
Thank you, with Gina. evidence that he can use to make sure that Kennedy leaves Lucasfilm quietly without any future drama. So the pressure's clearly building in Gina Carano's favor. And if Favreau gets his wish and Gina returns to Cara Dune, he's made sure that there's still time to fit her into this Mandalorian movie. A little movie typo right there. Just FYI, maybe fix that. But this is fantastic, Cameron. What was I gonna say? Might be brought up.
Well, maybe we can ask them in the chat because I only got about 15 minutes left. So
yeah, well, I just want to ask you this:
Mhm.
Do you really think Iger is playing this politics of timing with this lawsuit? So the long game is that he gets KK finally out. Is that a possibility?
Look, I think Matthew would agree that the fact that Miss Kennedy still, at least on paper, has a job, even though multiple people look at us like, I haven't seen her in a year. I mean, and we see her on Instagram in London all the time. Who the hell is she, right? But technically, she's still got her name on the letterhead, right? And it's one of the great mysteries, like the Stonehenge. Like, what the hell is this, right? It doesn't make any rational business sense on any level, right? And so I've always said that she's got to have something on Iger. She's got, because 40 years of parties, you get some photos, you get some video. It just happens, right? You get some stuff happening that you get on people, right? So I've always believed that there's some leverage there that we don't know, because otherwise the behavior even doesn't make sense from the internal woke versus rational people politics of Disney, right? But whatever. Let's assume that there is clearly some hesitation on Iger's part to cut her loose, whatever the reason for that is, right? Some people have suggested maybe he's trying to milk to certain DEI financings, and that letting her go might irritate certain financiers. Possible, right? So there's certain pressures that are keeping him from just cutting the cord like we've been demanding for like 7 years, right? So in that, the more evidence he can use, this case is actually a windfall for him. If it goes to forget going to trial, discovery, as Matthew knows, it takes a year or more, right? You got to go through documents, emails. You got to depose people. It's a long process. Most cases settle out early in discovery because there's embarrassing stuff comes out. People are like, okay, we can't let this go to trial. I cannot imagine this going to trial. You can be certain that there are unguarded, unwise emails and DMs and other contacts between Ms. Kennedy and other people regarding Gina Carano that would make it clear that this is a personal vendetta. It is an ideological vendetta. It is a prejudicial vendetta. It's not about that, she violated whatever, bizarro claims the lawyer's been trying to make on, Disney's personal reputation or whatever. I mean, none of that worked with even the courts. So there's something that Iger seems to still want to make her go away forever, right? And I think if I were him and I have some gun on my head, which appears to have, it is useful to say, look, Kathy, we got these emails that make you look like a jackass that are going to make us lose this case and are going to ruin your legacy and your reputation. Let's just call it a day. You move on, because Matthew, I think you would agree. I agree with you. She can't come back with the current power structure of Lucasfilm. At least what's on paper. She can't come back with Kathleen Kennedy there. It's no way that is politically feasible. It's like Christ said, you cannot serve two masters, right? You can't go in there and work for John Favreau and Kathleen Kennedy. It's not going to happen, right? It's an absolute humiliation for Kennedy, and she has to be out and say, well, they did that when I wasn't there, stupid people. But they hired an anti-Semite. I tried to stop them. They can't do that while she's there. And so,
Kadish, any ideas? Any thoughts on that? What Cameron just said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, since 2018, I've been coming on live streams talking about Kathleen Kennedy and how she's not going anywhere. She's not going to get fired. Her contract's going to get auto-renewed. She's going to be around until she decides to retire, blah, blah, blah. And for years, everyone was telling me, oh, you're wrong. It doesn't make any logical sense. The thing about Hollywood is that logic has nothing to do with Hollywood. It's about relationships. It's about leverage. It's about nepotism. It's about who you know. Kathleen Kennedy, for upwards of 30 years, she worked with some of the biggest power players in Hollywood. She's friends with all these people. She's got Spielberg in her corner. She's got Lucas in her corner. She's got her husband, who's a mega producer, in her corner. If she wanted to tell all of her friends to boycott Disney, Disney's film production overnight could conceivably get tanked. Basically, she wields a lot of power. And because of that, this is one of the reasons why that she has not been fired, despite the fact that every single thing that she's attached her name to in regards to Star Wars has been steadily on the decline in terms of like financially successful, commercially successful, merchandise, all this stuff. Like she has tanked the brand with her mismanagement of this thing. And I feel like if Bob Iger was actually concerned about that, he'd have just, quietly retired her a long time ago, right? Given her a golden parachute, paid her to go away, all this other stuff. So Bob Iger is famously friends with Kathleen Kennedy. I don't think he would do anything to try to remove her, because if he wanted to remove her, he'd just do it. And I feel like the only way that Kathleen Kennedy would step down is if there was stuff that came out in this lawsuit that was so damaging to her reputation that it would just make sense for her to go away. Yeah, exactly. So like I don't know. I don't think this is a power play by Iger, but I do think that if there was anything that was going to get Kathleen Kennedy to retire from Lucasfilm and hand the reins off to someone else, it's probably this lawsuit.
Well, and if you recall, Matthew, the Sony emails that were leaked by those hackers. They claimed it was North Koreans. Who the hell knows, right? But the hackers, it brought down Amy Pascal, who at that time was the head of Sony and was considered the most powerful woman in Hollywood, right? Amy Pascal was untouchable. And then a bunch of emails come out where she makes fun of Angelina Jolie. And that's enough. Making fun of Angelina Jolie and mocking her is enough to ruin her career, right?
That's it, huh? That was it.
And that's not even, let's just say aggressively tinged emails with political connotations about someone who you don't agree with. That's even worse.
Okay, so you wanted to go to the chat.
Yeah, let's just say I only got about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And, Matthew, how much time do you have?
The same.
About the same, yeah.
Okay,
really quick, we did get a super chat in. We love super chats, and we got some gifted memberships. Joseph Choi. Sammy Supernova, $4.99.
Sandwich Supernova.
Sandwich. It's a sandwich. Gotcha. Thank you for $4.99. Thank you all for fighting the good fight. Excellent panel. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much. All right. So, what were some comments that popped out to you, Cameron? As far as let's just start engaging with the chat a little bit.
Look, there's a lot of conversation going on. I'm seeing float by there, and and there's people that are taking Matthew's perspectives on certain things, taking my perspective. That's fine. Look, none of us, President. If I could tell you what Gina Carano was thinking, I would tell you if she had given me the permission to do so. I don't. I'm just basing my thoughts on what I've seen people do and what I think are what I would advise to do if I were in her inner circle. That's based on what I see works, right? We'll find out soon enough what happens and what she do. Some people are like, well, you're saying one thing about Gina and one thing about Iger. I'm like, yeah, they're two different people with two different agendas. Gina wants her job back. Maybe she does want an apology. Maybe she wants to leave a legacy of I skewered the woke dragon. Maybe, but she wants certain things, right? Iger wants other things. He wants to somehow salvage his legacy. He wants to get this annoying thorn out of his side, of Kennedy. All these things, and they're not necessarily at the same purposes. They can come together, but they're on their own tracks. This is a particular instance where they could come together.
Let me read some of our starred comments. I want to make sure that everyone in the chat, combined over 120 of you guys, thank you all so much. Make sure you all subscribe to the Slant. Double check. Then also too, let's throw links up for Mr. Cameron's Patreon and the Salty Nerd podcast, saltynerdvideo.com. Okay, all of that, get it up there if you can to the mods. Daniel Larson says it's possible KK was given an ironclad contract via George when he trusted her.
That's
and Kurt's
we've heard that for a long time. That's a rumor I think we've heard for a long time. Certain people have that opinion. Certainly, I have reported that that Mike Source had seen at least certain elements or heard certain elements of her contract that say that she can't be fired for cause, which is an extreme and insane clause. You can't be fired for cause. I mean, what the hell other reason can you be fired for, right? So I can confirm that she's certainly had that power, that you can't fire me for bankrupting the studio. That's cause. I mean, that's an insane clause, but she's got enough power to have rammed it in back then.
And also that clause was probably put in there before Disney bought Lucasfilm. And so that was strictly a negotiation that her and George entered into. Yeah.
It was probably part of the package deal. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and that's what happens. And you'd see this event, which is you don't see or hear anything about her, but she's on the payroll. Right?
You haven't heard from her in years. Well, since when? Indiana
you
Jones
heard
last
from
year.
a little bit around the acolyte. She started throwing Hedlund under the bus, right? You know,
Oh,
she's
that's
like,
right.
yeah. I remember
That's
she went to
right.
the New York Times and said, "No, I mean, she literally threw her under the bus." She's like, "Well, Leslie didn't really handle the PR of it well." I was like, "You're saying this in the New York Times? This is your little acolyte? You're throwing her under the bus in the New York Times like that?" Whatever.
I think the only one that's handled it well is Carrie-Anne Moss, who says, "You know what? It's done. Move on."
Karen Moss, it was just a paycheck. She was there for like 5 minutes.
I'd like to ask Cameron if he's heard anything about this, because when the news came out, the Acolyte was canceled. There was a lot of talk about how Kathleen Kennedy had fully expected to go forward with the season 2, but it was actually the Disney executives who said, "No, we're not throwing good money after bad with this." Have you heard anything about that?
Well, I've been reporting on my Patreon for some time that season 2 was never realistic. Like Kathy lives in a delusional world, so she may have thought to herself that was realistic. My source was from the beginning. Was like, "What are you talking about?" No, people didn't want this show out in the first place. I had reported over a year ago, 18 months ago. My source was like, Jon Favreau saw the initial cut of The Acolyte. I was like, "What is this garbage?" Just literally quoted him saying, he was apparently walking around the office saying, "This is the worst fan film I've ever seen. I mean, this is worse than any fan film, right? And it's bad." And he's like, "What are we going to do with this?" So he sends it to reshoots, and they cobble together this piece of garbage that they put out, right? So even then, it's like, whatever. I mean, nobody wanted this thing. I'm sure Miss Kennedy, who lives in a bubble, may have believed in her fantasy world that such a second season was possible. I don't think Leslie Hedlund believed that, because Leslie Hedlund was let go. I mean, she left the office like 18 months ago. Matt, that it was confirmed that she didn't finish post-production. She left to go to other projects in summer of last year. That's not what a showrunner does. A showrunner goes through post-production, edits the show. She was out of the office in June, and they hobbled it together with some Japanese and Chinese people, put together the footage and showed it to Favreau in September. He's like, "What is this crap?" So, I mean, she didn't think there was a second season. They said, "See you later, sayonara. Your parking space is gone," right? Kennedy, who's in her own planet, probably thought there was, but nobody else did.
Okay, some other great comments. Mike loves cats. Cameron's Patreon is the best value going on, hands down. Orale.
Thank you, sir.
Spidey Sensei 72. Amy Pascal got 40 million to walk out the door. I'd love to get that fired like that.
Yeah, that's how it works.
That much?
If you could agree, that's how it works. You don't fail down; you fail up in this town.
That's a lot of feria, Kadish. I mean, we got to rethink some stuff here.
The whole system is money laundering. I was having lunch today with an executive at Miramax, right? The post-Harvey Miramax. And we were joking about it. And we were just like, this whole system is money laundering, right? It's just like, because she's trying to figure out why certain movies are getting made and why she can't get other movies made. It's like, well, this person needs to be paid off. This buddy needs to be given a producer's deal. It's like,
I remember when I worked at Paramount, and people would talk about how, Paramount Productions would pay Paramount for the sound stages and stuff like that. I was like, why are they paying themselves? It's like, oh, money laundering. Yeah.
I mean, because this whole system is money. You just give money to your friends, because when you have your downturn, your friends will hopefully, even if they don't, care about you, they still. It's quid pro quo. You gave me $40 million. I'm going to give you this job on this studio, right? That's the quid pro quo, right? You don't even have to like each other. It's just it's mafia. You're just both keeping each other in the game.
Cameron, I want to ask you, there's this new show on HBO. It's called The Franchise. Have you watched it yet?
No. What is that about?
So it's a thinly veiled mockumentary about the making of DC Comics superhero movies. And it's very satirical, but I would love to see your take on it. There's only 2 episodes out right now, but it's kind of lampooning Hollywood, but you can tell that because it's a HBO Warner Brothers TV show, that they're very clearly kind of talking about like this is basically Aquaman that they're making, like behind the scenes of Aquaman. That's and funny. It's very funny to see from the filmmaking perspective what goes on these big superhero movies.
Yeah, you recommended that to me as well. I want to check it out. Yeah, maybe we can do a little review or something, Cameron. But The Franchise. Okay, a couple of more. This is fantastic, guys. Nowhere else on our YouTube verse here can you get quality people coming on the slant. Pasha and Kadish, Cameron and Kadish, however you want to say it. I'm really happy you guys are here on tonight with us. Got a few more minutes with you guys. Okay, a few more minutes. Star Wars movie budgets just don't show up on the screen. I mean, that's I gotta say, I think in the long run, and I think Favreau knows how to play the long game. all these Star Wars failures that aren't with him directly, this is good for him, don't you think? For him to creatively kind of like get more control, or hey, this is my vision, I'm successful. What are your thoughts there?
You go first, Captain. I'm responding to somebody who's annoyed with me in the chat, so I want to respond. Doesn't like me, I'm responding to them respectfully. You and I'll come back to the conversation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I agree with that because as a franchise starts going downhill, it becomes harder and harder to attract top quality talent without paying out the nose for it. And Disney's already been making austerity measures by saying, hey, we don't want to be spending $200 million on another Acolyte type deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like,
fair enough.
Like the whole idea that taking a franchise in decline and making that into a positive, like people are apathetic towards Star Wars. It used to be like the #1 franchise on the planet. And now it's like, it hasn't had a movie out in years. The TV shows have been a mixed bag at best. Mm-hmm. They're having a harder time selling merchandise. The brand has been damaged beyond repair, in my opinion. So this idea that like it's good for Favreau because he has more power. Well, these people might not be aware of like how controlling Kathleen Kennedy is and those who are in her inner circle are. So, and I don't know that. I don't know the inner workings of Lucasfilm, so like it's hard for me to speak intelligently about this. But just from my gut instinct, it's a net negative for Favreau to be in this situation.
So let me address that. Let me address that. All right. So first of all, Matthew, everything you're saying would, in my opinion, be true if certain dynamics that at least I've been told by my people there had not happened. So on my Patreon, I'm reporting for quite some time that essentially Miss Kennedy's actual practical power has been severely diminished since that moment where Spielberg humiliated her on the stage on about Indiana Jones, where he basically didn't pass her up in Frank Marshall for any praise, and just she stormed off the stage with rage on her face, right? That's the kind of insult you do to bring people down in a passive aggressive way in front of the system. And since then, she's largely been out of the office. And so my sources with them is saying, look, for all intents and purposes, she's got her title, she's getting her paycheck, and Favreau doesn't listen to her. So I will say this, I reported a few weeks ago on my Patreon that Favreau was saying publicly, and my source heard this with their own ears, saying publicly to people that we have to start preparing the storytelling for the post-Kennedy era. So if he's willing to say things like that in the office of Lucasfilm, there's clearly some kind of a dynamics happening. If that is true, like Matt, I mean, I'm not there. This is a source. If the source is lying to me, there's nothing I can do, right?
All I know, Cameron,
if that is true, then the dynamics have changed internally.
All I know, Cameron, is that I've had personal conversations with people who have been in the pitch room with Kathleen Kennedy. It's like her and like two or three other. Her and 2 or 3 other people who were like sitting here fielding like pitches from major Hollywood people, and so like she does still have some power there, enough, at least enough. Power to thumbs up or thumbs down.
No, that's not it. Hearing pitches isn't real. So I've heard pitches. When I was working on my first job as a staff writer on Twilight Zone, we were taking freelance scripts from outside writers, and I was the staff writer, the lowest person on the totem pole. And the showrunner, Ira Bear, who was from Deep Space Nine, he said, "Oh crap, I don't want to deal with this. Nobody who's just been in the industry 3 weeks, you take the pitches." So the pitches
would you say that she at least still has the power to green light or red light in terms of budget?
No, not at all. Not
really.
No. She's been out. She doesn't have the power to do that. Maybe you should join my Patreon, Matthew. I'm happy to link you all the stuff.
You guys, I'm gonna connect you guys on a text. The midi-chlorian counter. Cameron, any update on George coming back for the new Jedi Order series?
So that was something that I talked about on my Patreon. But let me just finish this because I want to address this and I'll bring.
I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
So I actually am very close with a screenwriter who wrote the Rogue Squadron movie for Patty Jenkins, right? And let's just say he shared with me, and this was several years ago. He worked weekly with Kathleen Kennedy, and he shared with me some stories. Out of respect for him, so not to damage his reputation, I'm just going to keep silent and let that speak for itself, right? Okay. He shared with me a lot of stories of what that development process was like. Okay, so it is what it is. But no, I mean, my people have been saying again, we can only look at the practical things. The problem, we've had things like the Acolyte come in and people say, "Oh, that thing's still working," right? The Acolyte has had a lot of bizarro things, and that there's a lot of stuff going on within the system of the Acolyte that's not rational, that isn't even normally crazy like Disney is. But I've been told for quite some time that effectively Favreau is running the place. He doesn't have a title. He doesn't need a title because power isn't about titles, and that she's out and that they're not. Essentially, the Acolyte was the final thing that sunk her, and after that, nobody's giving her anything. There's been rumors, people reporting, oh, she's working on Indiana Jones thing. There's no Indiana Jones thing. I mean, I had my people look into her. They're like, no, Indiana, no one's gonna even hear that from her. So she can take pitches because that's a public face of what you do to show that you're still in charge. But pitches, as my screenwriter friends grumble on writers' boards, pitches are 99.9% a waste of time.
So,
and nothing happens.
What do you make of these reports about her giving notes to Stephen Knight about the upcoming Ray movie?
I've talked about that on my Patreon extensively. I've talked about it for a year. I've written at least 7 articles on it. So, because I've had people read the Stephen Knight draft. So they're all garbage. They're all garbage. I mean, there is no Ray movie. That there never was. It's just they paid off Knight for PR purposes. You go write this thing, right? He doesn't give a crap. This got his movie career back after 10 years of being, lost, right? He's working TV game shows, right? And so it took him forever to get back in the system. But she can give him notes as much as she wants. What I've been reporting since December of last year on my Patreon is that there's not been one acceptable draft and nobody's taking this seriously inside the system. So it's literally like, you go do that, Kathy. You keep giving him notes. Knight doesn't care. And Kathy feels like she's got something to do. I mean, one of the things, and somebody criticized for me in the chat, right? And I responded. I don't know if they bothered to respond back. One of the things I was attacked for, Matthew, last year by people in the YouTuber world was when Daisy Ridley got on stage, and then they announced the Ray movie. My source was like, what are they talking about? Nobody inside the company's heard about a Ray movie. I mean, and they're like, must be something being kept within the inner circle of Kennedy and her 2 or 3 close buffoons, right? In her inner circle, because none of us have heard anything about it, and we don't know what they're talking about. And people say, Cameron, that's just crap. You don't know anything. This is happening. The Knight's talking about it. Ridley's talking about it. Then in December of last year, Daisy Ridley did an interview where she said in the interview in December, where she did an interview saying, number one, there was no script. She hadn't seen a script. It's been 6 months, no script. And she said, I didn't know anything about it. I was having lunch with Kathy, and she said to me, hey, you want to come up on stage? We've got this Ray movie you want to announce. It's exactly what people said. Literally, Kathy was the only one who knew, and maybe 1 or 2 of her inner people, maybe Carrie Bradshaw and others. And she's like, what? Okay. So that's why she has that look of deer in the headlights when she gets up there, because this was dumped on her. That my source told me directly, and I was laughed at and mocked until she said in an interview, said, I got no warning. I was told, get up on stage and talk, and we're going to announce a Ray movie. And since then, there's a Ray movie.
Do you know anything about the James Mangold film?
As far as I'm aware, that's essentially just doing the same kind of taking mittens, doing rewrites, not going anywhere. Because Mangold is a real credible filmmaker, right? I think a lot of people might actually want to see that movie, right? But again, that was something that was developed under her tenure, and she's
got the Dylan film coming out.
To actually get anything greenlit now, so
right.
So that's what I've been hearing. Again, this is all people that come on my Patreon, especially those who are my critics in the chat. Come join, and you can read the articles going back a year and a half, and you can see how the storyline developed as I was told it.
I'm just enjoying you guys too, talking to each other. That's what I love.
Well, let me tell you something, Paulie. Kamran Pasha, not only does he have the lived experience of having worked in Hollywood, but he is a stand-up guy. He came to my defense when people were bullying me online.
Oh my God, you were being brought down on Twitter. He has
so much integrity. Even if I disagree with him, I at least respect him enough to believe
I'm not making up stuff.
Exactly.
I could be wrong.
And I mean, even if you're wrong, it's like you're reporting on stuff based off of your lived experience and your knowledge. And
some people who claim to be there, who I know are there, are claiming things which I can't confirm with my own eyes.
You've also been involved and made some really fantastic entertainment in your time. So
Cameron, hopefully more to come. Hopefully it won't be like, remember that guy did that 20 years ago. I hope to God that's not what it is.
Cameron, major props to you, major respect.
Okay, one super chat for you. Is that come on, Cameron? Give it. Let's switch gears a little. Not kind of switching gears, but Michael Nimmo for $5. Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, ranked in order, worst condition now as a franchise to least bad.
I think Doctor Who is in the worst position. I think Doctor Who is beyond life support at this point. I think they had a chance to try to fix Who, and they went and they just, the BBC is controlled by weirdos. It's just controlled by weirdos, right? And so, those weirdos aren't going to let Who go. and I was a huge fan of Doctor Who as a kid. I basically, frankly, I mean, for me, the Fifth Doctor was my favorite because it was my childhood kid, right? But it's whatever. It's I think after that, I think Star Trek is the next worst thing because I think nothing. There's just no hope on the horizon that I can see for Star Trek, and then Star Wars. I think it's had a heart attack. It's had a major coronary incident that's lasted a while. I do think that there's people like Favreau that would like it to be better, and that's why I have more hope for it. Matthew, ranking wise, yeah,
I would agree with Kamran.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I think that's. By the way, we have an interesting chat from Sound Surgeon who said, that they said.
Let me read it. I was with Kamran. I had friends who volunteered at the D23 convention in the UK, so they ran that stage and nothing went to script. It went off. I can confirm that by my friends.
So see, so now we know conventions. You guys have been part of conventions. I'm sure you've spoken like at conventions, right? There is a schedule. There's things that are supposed to be announced by certain people. And so assuming that Mr. Surgeon or Ms. Surgeon was provided correct information, what I was told was Miss Kennedy basically interrupted the schedule to announce this Ray project that wasn't on the schedule of things that were supposed to happen. It seems to fit in with what I was told.
Kamran, do you think that that's like a tactic of hers to try to recapture her power by coming out announcing projects that she wants to make and basically forcing Disney's hand to either finance those and let her go forward with them or get egg on their face by canceling them?
I think both the Acolyte eventually did happen, right? To disaster for everyone. But I think the Ray movie was definitely that. The Ray movie was her, because at the time I had been told that there was a major effort to get her to resign, to take what was called the Viking funeral. And then instead she said, well, screw you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going out, and I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory on my terms. And so she just if you recall what was happening at the time of the Ray movie, it was all very bizarre because Damon Lindelof had been working on a movie for Star Wars, right? And then he announced that he was fired. And then suddenly out of nowhere, the project, within a few days after that, the Ray movie's announced. And then a day or so after that, we've got DeKnight being announced as the writer of it, right? And it was all like, what the hell's happening? This wasn't normal behavior. Like if you're going to bring someone in to replace Lindelof, when Lindelof is forced out, you would have announced DeKnight first because to keep the narrative that the movie is still going. This was all seemed like it was ramshackled together out of desperation.
Kamran, just for some clarification, I thought it was Stephen Knight who's the creator of Peaky Blinders. He was the one writing the script, not Stephen DeKnight.
No, I can't do it from Mr. Spartacus. Yes, I've added the D because whatever. So Stephen Knight, correct.
All right. Just wanted to clarify that.
Knight, and he had been a successful Oscar-winning filmmaker about 15 years before. He fell out of the game. Created Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So he did game shows. God bless him. Made a lot of money on that. And then he came back into TV through Peaky Blinders. But he wanted to get back into movies. And announcing this was in his interest because now he's making movies again. This put him back on the map, right? He went back into TV and now he's making movies. None of them are the Ray movie, but there's actual movies in production that he's written in the last year, right? That he got into motion. So it was in his interest to play along with this game. But if you recall, that was the sequence of events. Most people don't recall the sequence of events, and it was very ramshackle. It wasn't how you do these kinds of things. It was something like Lindelof got his movie pulled by Iger, essentially said, we're not going to do this crap. Get out, forget about it. And she's like, crap, they're pulling my movie away from me. They're trying to force me out. Hey, Daisy, get up on the stage. You got a Ray movie. Anybody know who we can give the Ray movie to? Boss, there's a Stephen Knight we've been emailing about some ideas. Yeah, give it to him, right? Boom. And then you got that announced, right? That's the wrong sequence of events for how something like that should be done. But to answer your question, Matthew, that is what you do when you are trying to desperately regain your power. And it worked because the fan base went for it. Like, oh my God, the Ray movie, it's inevitable. It's coming. It's tomorrow. It's like, nobody's going to make this Ray movie. It's not going to make any money. There's no market for it at all.
Okay, guys, Melissa Barrera.
Yeah,
has a lot in common professionally. What's going on with Gina, and I brought this up on Salty Nerd podcast with you, Kadish. Carano should be making movies, but she should be but she should move on from Star Wars. She was doing just fine before Star Wars, so Melissa should be making movies. She should move on from Scream. She was doing just fine before Scream. I bring this up because what I'm seeing right now is a movement behind, like Carano, behind Barrera, in getting out the fact that her movie is now starting to Your Monster is starting to get what do you call it, early screenings, and then it's coming out at the end of this month. This is the only film Barrera was able to do after all. It was actually a film before the shenanigans, before she was fired. But she's like Carano. They're not working because
the shenanigans aren't working. What are you saying?
Barrera is not working. All her stuff that she's done was from last year, 2 years ago. I'm saying this because the way scheduling is, and this monster did not get distribution until a couple of months ago, and they said we're going to put it out in Halloween. They didn't touch it, even though it was the best thing in Sundance back in January. We reported on it. Okay, so it took forever to get distribution. That's because of the whole Palestinian thing. Come on, they did a Palestinian protest at Sundance with Barrera right there. Cool. All right, that's what you believe in. More power to you. My thing is like Carano, both were publicly fired. And what you're seeing, though, I mean, there's no compare. I mean, Carano's fan base is huge. She's endeared herself. And what I hear is that every from J3PO, we've got this, I remember in the chat, that every time she goes to a Comic-Con, she sells out. And I added, so has Barrera.
Yeah. So what's your question or your point?
Well, no, I'm getting again. So
and you know, I'm
threading a line. I'm threading a line here. I'm threading a line here of fandom. How important they are to making executive decisions. I think that's why Carano is I think that's the reason why they're fighting for her, as is with Barrera. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Matthew, you want to take this?
I was long-winded. I'm sorry.
That's the last thing I do, by the way, because I'm already late for my thing. So Matthew, you want to take this one? I'll drop off some ideas, then I got to take off.
Well, if you got to take off, why don't you take it, Cameron? Then I'll just clean up after you.
No, I mean, look, Melissa Barrera, I've been very open about it. I share Melissa Barrera's politics on that issue. It doesn't help me in Hollywood, right? It certainly makes me adversaries. I'm not afraid of it. I've been to Palestine. I've been to Israel. I've been there twice. I've seen all of it with my own eyes. So my opinions are based on visual experience, right? And so setting that aside, it's, I think any rational people, and there are rational people, even if they're just the accountants, there are rational people inside Hollywood who look at numbers. And the reality is, Cara Dune, I think there was a brief moment where some toys of hers started selling again, and suddenly they sold out instantaneously for a lot of money, right?
Right.
There's a massive fan base for Cara Dune, for Carano, with or without her politics. People just like her. She's a likable person, and she's been gracious. I mean, she hasn't attacked Bob Iger, like when people said Bob Iger refused to comment on her thing, and she said, well, what do you think about that? She said, Bob is doing the right thing. That's a smart cookie. Like, she's not attacking the CEO of Disney. She's like, Bob Iger should not get involved in my case. It's right for him to stay silent. He's smart. That's what you do when you're trying to get your career back, right? If you want to blow your career, like Bob Iger is a fascist, that's what you went through. I actually have a friend of mine who is sadly that person who was successful for a bit and then opened their mouth and decided to condemn the whole world, and now they're not successful. That's not smart. I've seen it. I've seen people lose their careers by not shutting their mouths at the right time, right? So, but Barrera has every right to her politics. I share those politics. Not everyone in the chat has to agree with that. Who cares? But the reality is she has a massive fan base, just like Gina does. And if there are smart people, the smart people will know, just go with the money. Let people have their beliefs. You can, in a war, you can choose. It's okay to have sympathy for one side or the other. It's a war. It's a conflict. People tend to sympathize with people they feel identify with. That's what happens, right? It is what it is. Let people have their personal opinions. For me, and I think, Matthew, I think we share this. My belief is, my approach in life and in the industry is, I don't actually care about your politics. I care about your character. I don't care about what you believe. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about who you're voting for. I care about whether you're an ethical human being. The actions are what I care about, right? Everything else is just words to me. It doesn't mean anything to me. Smart people in Hollywood think like that. Sadly, those smart people are not necessarily the ones at the cocktail party circuit at the top, right? Who are kissing each other's asses and trying to make sure that they're seen as good people by each other, even though they're all bad people. They're all just terrible human beings pretending to be good people by virtue signaling. Right? So I think ultimately, whether one likes it or not, over the next decade, economics is going to triumph. Because it's like gravity. There's only so much you can jump out of a window, and one day the ground is going to hit you, and that's share price shows that. So I think eventually the economics are just going to force people to go, Barrera has a fan base, give her a movie. Carano's got a fan base, get her back in this thing. And that's eventually economics will force that.
Well, over 200 people combined watching us, Kamran, on X and on YouTube. You knocked that out of the park once again, like you always do. Yeah, Mr. Pasha is with us about once a month now. And what I can say to everyone in the chat is go and put your money and support this gentleman on his Patreon. You get a wealth of information from someone who actually knows the business. How about that? How about a channel or a Patreon that espouses being on top of the scene and this and that actually has worked in the business, like Mr. Kadish as well. You know, quality.
I mean, that's why Matthew and I can have disagreements, but they're within the range of reasonableness because we both experienced things. We both experienced this. I'm no Matthew speaking from a place of actual experience of things, right? So I know he's not crazy. I get annoyed when people don't know what they're talking about. Like, well, this is what the spreadsheet says. I was like, oh, do you think that Disney accounting works the way GAAP accounting works? Is that what you think? You know, and so then you can't talk to people like that, right? Because they're living in a fantasy world, right? Matthew and I can have a range of opinions that are all within the range of reasonable possibilities because we've lived this world.
Well, gents, I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys at the same time because you know what?
Let Matthew speak. I don't want to speak.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Kadish.
Well, when it comes to like the genesis of fandom, I guess. So you have Gina Carano, who, you know, she was an early breakout star of American Gladiators back in the day. So she has like this young fan base who saw her come up through the UFC. She was a Steven Soderbergh's kind of like it girl for a while with like Haywire, where she was like a mainstream action star, or at least tried to be. And she's been in a lot of like, you know, smaller roles in like Marvel movies like Deadpool and stuff like that. But when you break out in a franchise that has a built-in fan base like Star Wars or Scream in Barrera's case, you get exposure to like a hardcore group of people who just will fall in love with you. But beyond that, these are two people who, and this is an old writing trick, I'm sure Kamran knows this one, if you make your main character the recipient of an undeserved misfortune, that instantly makes them far more likable than any other character. So everyone loves an underdog. So both of these women were persecuted for speaking out, what they believed in, all this other stuff. So when you combine the franchise loyalty with the underdog like persecution narrative, you instantly galvanize people to be more fervently fans of people who maybe don't deserve it, right? Because I mean, let's just be honest here. Gina Carano, she's not a great actress, but she's a wonderful human being, right?
I don't agree with that. I think she's very good within the roles that are written well for her.
Okay, but the fact is that she's likable, right? So the people who
both are saying the same thing. She's very good at what she can do, but it's very limited to me in her range. But she's gotten really good. Yeah, but she ain't no Barrera. That's just my opinion, bro. That's just my opinion.
I will work with either of these two lovely ladies. You know,
you will. That's right. That's right.
Do it as well. You know, I don't think I do have to go. I've got a friend who's waiting for me, and I have to text him. Okay. Apologies. So Matthew,
you're the best.
Let's get all the information through Paulie, and let's connect some more. All right. That's everyone. Peace.
Peace, my brother. Kamran. There he goes, and there he is. Kadish, finish your thoughts, sir.
I was just saying that in both of these cases, you have kind of like a perfect storm of galvanization for people who have been exposed to them in the past. And I feel like that has made their fan base far more fervent and powerful than it normally would be, you know? So that was it.
My brother, listen, I know your wife's calling, or because I would keep you on right now.
I would stay on if I
I
wanted
know.
to
I'm not
not
gonna do
remain
that to you.
married.
I'm not going to do that to you, but let's have you back on soon. And I just went to Vegas for the day and hung out with you and Dutch Butters on your podcast. Was a blast. Can you just let the good people tell them where you're at?
Yeah, if you go to saltynerdvideo.com, that takes you right to our YouTube channel. We go live every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which I believe is 1 p.m. Eastern. And basically, we have our fantastic panel of nerds every week, joined by a special guest who just kind of rotates in and out. So if you guys like talking about movie news, TV shows, all that stuff, Salty Saturdays is the place to be.
There it is. Thank you, Fletcher, so much. And Matt, it was great, Matt. Listen, this was fun. This was a blast, and we got great engagement. But it was great breaking bread, and we had Korean barbecue the other day. Man, that's so good. Oh,
it's good stuff. It's
good stuff. Have a good night, my friend. Much love.
Thanks, Paulie. Appreciate.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. Oh my. Do not go anywhere. We have plenty to talk about. I got some crazy items to discuss and to go with you. Just so you guys know, this is what you can look forward to right now. Coming up, we're going to have Dune delayed to 2026. Yes and no. Penguin episode 5. I got some thoughts. I got a Latino Zen for you and Venom preview. But before we get into that, I have some thanks to give. First of all, let's thank Daryl Brewer for gifting 5. That's right, 5 Latino Slant memberships. Orale pues. Willie, you get one. Jeremiah, you get one. British Bulldog, you get one. Darth Mac. Return of Darth Mac. Return of Darth Mac. Yeah, that kind of works. Darius, you got the 5. That's right. Well, we're halfway through, but then we got another one. We got a new member, AZ Cowboy. Is it like Arizona? AZ Cowboy? Or is it as Cowboy 1? Either way, you've become a new member of the Latino Slant. And for that, man, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Muchísimas gracias for that. And this is for all the new members. We got a little video for you guys, as well as just welcome. You know, I love it. I love new members to the channel. We have a goal tonight of 10. We got 6 done. 4 more. Go ahead, gift them. Get one as little as $2.99 a month. All that good stuff. Let's go. Vámonos. It's a Monday night. I'm feeling myself. How cool was that, guys? Kamran Pasha, Matt Kadish, coming on in hot, coming in on strong. Bam, boom, pop. Did you guys like that? Did you guys enjoy that? If you did, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you're saying hello. You're engaging in the chat. And I got to tell you, man, we've been having some great live streams. Fridays, we have our political talk. We had a great one the other day. And then here, it's more of our pop culture and all that good stuff. Working on different guests every week. D Vader for $2. Muchísimas gracias, D Vader. BlackRock investors push KK. They're the power. Be very, very quiet. Thank you so much, D Vader. And let's give a video thank you to the super chats. And we're going to go Ahsoka Lowrider style.
The lowrider is a little higher.
All right, my friend. What do you say, Fletcher? Let's clear the starred comments. Let me see what's going on. It's Arizona. Yo, that's where my family's from as well. What's up, AZ Cowboy? I love it, man. And welcome to the Latino Slant. Here's the thing. Hey, what's going on, Julissa? You guys are going to get members. You're going to get the first look at the new Venom movie. We have our writer Rosa Para going tomorrow night. That video is coming out first for the members tomorrow night. So make sure that you have your alerts on. You have your alerts on. Mike loves cats. Your political talks are truly excellent. Man, you know what? We tried. I try to stay as balanced as possible. It was a lot of fun. We had 2 Republican kind of influencers, political wonks this past Friday. One voting for Trump and one a Republican for Harris. That was a wild talk. That was wild. That was crazy. That was crazy. Looking forward to Venom. Okay. Nice. Nice. All right. Let's bring in our producer for a minute, and then we're gonna get to kind of our first pop culture item. Fletcher, thoughts? What's going on? Talk to me.
Not much. Everything's going great. Thank you so much for everybody who gifted memberships, and also we just I think we just need 4 more, right?
4 more.
All right.
That's
so
right.
put the link in the chat. So if you guys see the link, you can support, become a member, and get amazing perks for gift membership. Also, we still have a poll up. We have 153 votes so far. Should Gina return to Star Wars? Number 1, C, this is the way. No, the 4 should move on. 3, maybe money rules the universe. And 4, we got Carano's at home. Make sure to vote. And those of you who are watching us on X, come down to YouTube and vote. And also subscribe to the channel, please.
Really, man. People are having, dude, you were like sweating it in the chat, man. I mean, what's going on there?
What?
Like, you know, like it was like a lot of activity, a lot of
yeah. The chat was, you know, the chat's always wild, and we love it. But just like that, we did meet our goal for today, boss.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, what do we got? Show me.
All right, so we got AZ Cowboy, new member of the channel, gifted 5 Latino Slant membership. And we got Zombie Box Review became a member. We have Sterling Jones becoming a member. Awesome One becoming a member. Pan de Colima becoming a member. And also Lady for Charlotte becoming a member. Thank you so much. Cowboy One, you put us over the top. VP of the day, along with everyone. Thank you so much. All
that is bad ass. Get it? Bad as Cowboy One.
Very good.
That is very cool. Okay. Oh, snap. I just became a member. Yes, you did. Okay, all the new members really quick. Here's what I want you to do, guys. All right. I want you to email me. Email me right now. Members, well, anyone can email me, but members, what you're going to do is when you email me, I'm going to send you a merchandise discount code. And so we got stuff. We got the Defund the Thought Police t-shirt. We got Latino Slant stuff. Anyways, just email me, and I want to hook you guys up. As and Daryl Brewer, email me. I want to hook you guys up with some swag. Here's the thing, man. We always got cool swag stuff hanging around from from our Hollywood outings. This is from the Transformers 1 screening I went to, and they gave out comic books.
Yeah, so if you become a member, you get part of that swag train.
All right. I'm ready to talk about our first pop cultural item. I'll see you in a little while, my brother. Thank you so much for holding it down. All right. Let me see. So there was some news, guys, in regards to let me take that banner off. Where is it? I think I hit the wrong banner. Where's that Dune banner? There it is. Oh no. Oh, maybe I don't have a Dune. There it is. Okay, pop. Dune delayed to 2026. What? 2026 after we just heard that Denis Villeneuve. Vive la France. Oh, what? I think this is French made. That's why it said it. After Denis just said we're going to speed up the calendar and we're going to start filming sooner than later, literally within days, we get this information. Now, I want to break this down. I'm going to go to it, and want to break this down for you guys. I want to go all the way down because it talks about Tom Holland getting cast in a Christopher Nolan film, but this is the ripple effect, guys. Okay, let's scroll all the way down. Really, people are freaking out because of this one particular paragraph and really one particular sentence. Okay, now let me just read it for you, and then I want to break it down. Hollywood. I'll break down the Hollywood language. Holland's boarding may come with some ripple effects, sources say. Who are these sources? Sources say that the actor will spend next year juggling this project, the Christopher Nolan project, as well as Spider-Man 4. With a likely stop for Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man 4 was delayed enough that Holland's co-star Zendaya will now be shooting Dune 3 in early 2026 rather than next year. So, let's read that last line again. Spider-Man 4 was delayed enough that Holland's co-star Zendaya, tomato, will now be shooting Dune 3 in early 2026 rather than next year. All right? I just said this the other day, that the only way that I could see this pocket opening up for Dune was that schedules and stars aligned. Literally, his stars, Chalamet Ding Dong, Timothée Chalamet, and Zendaya, their schedulings probably opened up a pocket to where he could start shooting sooner than later. And let me tell you, those are so fluid, especially with these huge stars, and they have their own projects they want to do. They got the big studio projects they got to do. But when I heard that Denis was going to start shooting sooner than later, I was like, well, he must have gotten really lucky because that meant his 2 stars are available. Now, what I say is that they still are. I think this is a lot of overreacting. Dune getting delayed to 2026. No, what they're saying is her participation in filming is going to get delayed. Doesn't mean that Dune is not going to start shooting sooner. In fact, I do believe that that's probably what's happening. It's very easy to start scheduling and doing so many things in regards to storylines, shooting other stories like the action, the locations. I mean, you name it, you can do all that months and months before your stars show up. This is Hollywood, baby. That is what I'm thinking all the hubbub is all about. Because if Denis is saying we're getting a green light sooner, that's going. Now, the pushback here is that the ripple effect is Zendaya probably is going to show up a little later onto set than what was expected. But let me tell you guys, huge Hollywood, massive productions like Dune, they're used to this all the time. They are the masters of scheduling. Think of that producer, okay, and not a like consulting producer, not a producer who's just with the writers, a producer who's the general. The general is in charge of all the departments, all the people, hundreds and hundreds of people. That general is moving, scheduling to make sure everything works. And that's what I think that this is what has happened, is that you just happen to have different films. Christopher Nolan's film, Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Zendaya, Dune. It really is just a scheduling feat and change. That's how I'm seeing it. So that is really, again, I would say much to do about nothing. I think that if ¿cómo se llama? Denis Villeneuve, if he's saying that we're doing a green light sooner than later, here's another reason why it's happening. Money. Okay. No one's hotter right now than Chalamet and Zendaya. Like them or not, they got a huge global following. Warner Brothers saying, here's your money. Start. So let me know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think, what you guys are saying. What are people saying in the chat, Mr. Fletch?
Oh, about.
Any interesting comments?
Yeah, it said AZ Cowboy 1 says studios are a masterclass in logistics when done right.
Well, thank you. And absolutely. And I say it's done right more often than not. Now, that doesn't mean you get a great finished product. It is a minor miracle when something that is like, hey, here we go. Joker. Was a massive flop. I mean, it's going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, and it probably had it had some big stars, and it had a huge budget. And I'm sure they had an incredible logistic team. It looked again in my review, I loved the way it looked. Stars did not align. Being a logistical general, master doesn't mean that you're going to get a masterpiece. Okay, what else?
All right, now a member of the channel, Sterling Jones, says if the Ray movie were to come out and went up against Dune Part 3, Dune would easily smoke the Ray movie hands down.
I mean, if you say that they're like, let's say like they're coming out around the same time or maybe even the same weekend, I would think at this point, absolutely, because there's so much, you have such a good feeling in regards to the Dune. Some people didn't like them, some people love them, some people appreciate them, but you can't deny the Dune kind of hype that has been going on. And now you're gonna have that Dune TV show on HBO. Some people thinking that looks really good. And a lot of people want to see Dune Part 3. You can't say any of that, unfortunately, with Daisy Ridley and a Ray-centered movie. So I'm afraid Sterling Jones is correct. What's up, Sterling? Okay, who else?
Wolverine says Dune can keep some die. Peter Parker needs to finally get with Mary J. Watson.
Well, shots fired. Shots fired. I liked her in that. There was one Spider-Man where I thought she was decent, which was like
No
the
Way
last
Home?
one. Yeah. Like she actually like was animated.
She mowed it.
All right, what else?
Donna Bradford says, Latino, to our friend from Transformers, want to still hear anyone who sees the film, they loved it, and they loved our friend character, Shockwave.
Yes, Donovan. In fact, I've been in communication with the actor who portrayed Shockwave, the voice of Shockwave, Jason Alvarez. And shout out to Jason. You can catch his live interview here. And we had a great time. He sent out some goodies to some of the members, so maybe we can get some more. And yes, people that are seeing it, kind of like Wild Robot, great word of mouth. It's a really good film.
Right.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, we got Pat Finch says, Latino, have you read Eduardo Galindo's Open Vein of Latin America?
I have not. Let's put it on the list. Let's put it on the list. Thanks. What's up, Pat Finch? Good to see you.
Solomon Thornton says, I was reading Dune Messiah. Crazy book.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm reading right now is rereading Dark Force Rising. Yeah, book two of the original Thrawn, Heir to the Empire.
Nice.
So that's where I'm at right now. I got to listen to a lot of it on the. That's why I love road trips. I got to listen to like 10 chapters on the drive back. Thank you, Solomon.
Yeah, we got Julie's a member of the channel, said I couldn't get through the first Dune.
A lot of people are like that. A lot of let's just say normies, right? I totally get it. Did you see Dune 2 though? Did you see the second one? Hey, I missed the stream. Well, I'm still here. We still got topics. You did miss our guests, but you can always hit the replay after I'm done. Okay. ¿Qué más?
Cool. So we got another question for Sterling Jones. Another question: do you think John Boyega would ever come back to Star Wars? I don't see that happen. It really got done over by Lucasfilm.
Well, it's funny you say that. I absolutely do see him coming back. Listen, as much as I defend actors, you know, if you guys are new to the channel, my better half is a working actor in the business, so I got a lot of insight with the day in day outs of her acting career. But one thing that I do know is that actors want to work. Actors want to act. So, two things with that. John has been very vocal and very honest in his criticism of Star Wars and how he was treated and how his character was treated. Props to John. So he would come back if they actually honored his character, Finn, which I think we all can agree we were ready for a Finn stormtrooper turned Jedi. Weren't you ready for that?
Yeah,
Fletch?
I mean, that's what we were expecting.
That's what we got, the smoke and mirrors, dog, in the trailer. Now, let me tell you one more thing, Sterling, then we'll move on, is that Boyega was at the Star Wars convention, or, you know, was it New York Comic-Con, signing Star Wars posters. And they asked him. He's like, I love my Star Wars fans. That's done on purpose. All right. Who else we got?
Julissa did answer your question. Says, no, I didn't watch Tutsu. I'm afraid I fall asleep watching that one too.
Hey, fair enough, Julissa.
Donovan says, dumb fun werewolf movie coming out. It's called Werewolves. Check it out. It looks fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And speaking of werewolves, I like to see more Werewolf by Night, says Ask Boy One.
Well, I mean, listen, I think you're teeing some of this up. Maybe you've read in the trade papers, but it got greenlit for a sequel. Werewolf by Night got greenlit, and if anyone does not know what Werewolf by Night is, it is a fantastic black and white kind of standalone Marvel horror movie that debuted, I believe, either last year or 2 years ago. And they got a green light. I think it's great to watch during this during the Halloween season. Werewolf by Night, I believe, is on Disney Plus or Sail the High Seas. Arr, matey. Arr, mighty.
Carlos Fernando Lopez says, I finished the first Doom movie. Couldn't get Stan to watch the second one. Zzz.
Bro, let me tell you, man. You're not alone. You're not alone. And I saw this with like the Chris Gore, homies. We all went and saw it. And, the IMAX, you had the this Max and the that Max and the Auto Max. And visually, it was just a feat to watch. Then I saw it again. And then I know Rosa Parra, it's her favorite movie of the year. That's wonderful. I didn't like what the changes they made to the book, because I'm a fan of the books. Okay, can we just finish the grifters? Oh, cool. Baza the Great. I want to let's hit another topic here. What do we got for banner? Okay. Oh, let's talk I'll see you in a few minutes. I'm going to talk about the Penguin.
Okay.
And Penguin episode 5, Homecoming, just dropped on HBO Max. We have been watching this show every episode. We've also been doing some other breakdowns of the series. So we being my other half, Romy, just really, really enthralled with this show in regards to everything else that you've from other people that you've heard, the storytelling, the acting, and the characters. And every week we get more entertainment, we get more thrills, more surprises, more twists, and it's showing because as of today, Homecoming has jumped up in ratings to 1.9 million. So every week more and more people are jumping on to see this on HBO Max, and that's a testament to this great storytelling. Now, there's been some changes from the comics that some people aren't too crazy about, but they all recognize this is a really good show. But the general audience is absolutely just in love with the show. Episode 5 is called The Homecoming, and it means a couple of different things in regards to the two main characters that we're following. It means the homecoming of Sophia Falcone, who has and I'm going to do my best non-spoilers here, who has a homecoming that is not the family homecoming you'd expect. She is creating a new family, and to do that, she's got to do the most dastardly things that you can imagine. For Oz, he's on the other side of that. He's just trying to find a home, a place of survival, to catch a breath and to make sure that his loved ones are safe. Both are thrilling. Both, you just can't believe how are they, just maneuvering and dealing with new and older characters. I want to talk about something really quickly that I don't think enough people are talking about. And I brought this up with some other friends. That Hollywood has done the worst job of pushing an agenda on our beloved IPs for so long now, for years, that rightly so, fans, whether they're fans of the original product, right, the original Star Wars, original Battlestar Galactica, the original Star Trek, Doctor Who, etc., they've come to such an impasse that they just no longer watch and support these shows. And even worse, they'll get rid of their merchandise. They'll get rid of their beloved DVD collections, etc. Now, very rarely does Hollywood knock it out of the park in regards to pushing an agenda and entertaining us. Because I've always said, you can do both. You're just gonna have to do some more heavy lifting. And what am I talking about here, Paulie? Well, the Penguin has a strong pro-women feminist agenda. And in this case, there's nothing wrong with it. Oh dear my. From the mother to the head, now the female head of the Falcones, they become more than just side pieces, more than just damsel in distress, more than just a powerless mother. They have, for lack of a better word, agency in these stories, that it's intertwined and never get it wrong with a comic book story. Which that balance of, you're always seeing the comic book characters, from little characters such as the chief of police to, yes, the Penguin, and I'm almost amazed that they pulled this off, and yet I shouldn't be, because a little bit of disclosure, I know one of the consulting producers, and she is a mega talent, and I know other work that she's done, and I'm like, wow, she brought the dark, she brought the comedy, she brought the the realism of kind of like that gritty situation of whether it's trying to come up and trying to get yours, or, like I said, kind of not just being the dumb, subservient daughter of a mobster. It's almost as if Sopranos, Meadow Soprano, becomes self-actualized and becomes a tyrant and takes control. That's what this is. And she's going to become Penguin's arch nemesis in this. I mean, I cannot wait for more episodes. I can't wait to see where this is going. But I do believe that there is a strong feminist agenda, and I don't think in this case there's anything wrong with it. And that's my take on the series so far, my take on this episode so far. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you guys are thinking. It's called Homecoming on HBO Max, starring Colin Farrell, Christian Milioti, who's she is the big star that has just come out of nowhere. Let's see what you guys are thinking in the chat. What's going on with that? Fletcher, my man. What do we got? Come on in, man. Come on in. All right. Carmen Falcone got a bit bleached in the Penguin compared to the Batman. A bit bleached? Carmine. I forget which one is. Well, Carmine's the dad, right?
Carmine is one of the heads of the major families in the Gotham thing.
Right. Well, so in the movie, compared to the Batman, in the movie, he's played by John Turturro, killed off during the film. So when we see Carmen Falcone in here, it's 10 years prior, and it's played by a different actor, Mark Strong. Okay, what else do we got?
Donovan says I still need to watch The Penguin.
Yeah, man. I can't recommend it enough. And let me know what you think after you check it out.
Gonzalo says The Penguin is DI done right if you really think about it.
Yeah, Gonzalo said DEI done right. When you think, okay, so that's simply put, right? And you're so right, Gonzalo. Is that one of the things that I got, one of the notes that I got years ago from my friend who worked on it. They were talking about it, and I was just like, "Wow, I can't believe Zaslav, like you're in this, right?" And then she said to me, "Paulie, we're gonna make a Latino actor star." I'm like, what do you mean? There's this character we wrote. I'm like, whoa. So it's like it's cool, but it's like if you're the difference here is everything, right? Because they did it right compared to they're the 1 out of 100. Let's be real, right? Fletcher, 1 out of 100 like that knocked it out. Because the other 99 would have been about, oh, I'm a poor Latino kid. Oh, I'm a woman. Give me power. Right. It's a great show. Yes. Penguin's a great show. Funny how it makes us root for a villain. I mean, they're all villains, right? But you're and it always reminds you, they always remind you, hey, Oz is not a good guy, but we do love him. All right, next. It's one of the smartest characters written in a long while. I mean, it's really wonderful to watch. I think Az has hit on something that she's so interesting, and she's gone through a lot. And the way Romy put it is that, to see how she started being the faithful, dutiful daughter of this crime boss, and where she's growing, it's really wonderful to see. All right, next.
Someone Thornton says, when you think about Sophia Stewart and how she was treated, she went through the adversity, and now she's getting what she's owned. The key factor for great characters going through adversity.
100%. 100%. I agree, Solomon. I agree.
Instant Defense says, I'll pay for the next week's next Penguin episode. Such awesome series.
Yeah, I do pay for my Max, and Max got bangers, man. House of Dragon, Last of Us, which I enjoyed. Though I use those two because those are the two biggest viewerships, and now this one is getting up there. Fletch.
Nice. Circus 5 says the difference with this portrayal of truly a strong woman is that she earns every inch of it.
Circus, you're absolutely right, because she was literally, it's unreal. Okay, let me try to say without spoiling it too much. It's unreal what was done to her. And then by everybody in this past and present, and what she does to them. All right, go on.
Yeah, and also we got, remember, China Read by Nature. Hail, Paulie.
What's up, man? What's up, Read by Nature? What's going on, man? We're Monday night. We're having fun. That's great, man. That's great. Okay, so we still got over 150 of you guys combined hanging out on X and on our YouTube channel. Let's kill the poll because we're not really talking about Star Wars anymore. I know we got 172 votes.
Nice.
What? Wow. And over 118 likes and 2 dislikes. Dope.
Nice.
2 dislikes. I love
Very
it.
good.
I bet you I know those 2 people.
Do you? You're gonna go visit them now?
Oh, I'll give them a call.
Nice. Falcone style.
Falcone style. Do we want to end this poll, or do we just want to keep it
Yeah.
going?
Why don't we see what it come up with?
All right, send the poll, and I still have a couple of more. Let me see. This is what you guys got. Let's coming up. We did the Dune. We did the Penguin. We got Latino Zen coming up, and Venom coming up. So don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. All right. So what was the final poll result? Read it for me, brother.
So upon a poll result, should Gina return to Star Wars? The number one was C. This is the way, with 45% of you. Wow, big lead. Number 2 was no, the Force should move on with 28%. Number 3 was maybe, money rules everything with 19%. And 4, we got Carano at home with only 5%. 173 of you voted. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're muted.
That's amazing. And what it says to me is, to my friends in the chat that are saying Star Wars is dead, it's been dead. It's not dead. Conversation is like very much alive. That means people care. That means we all just want it to be redeemed. That's what I want. I want it to be redeemed because it's just been so awful. Like the last 10 years has been awful. I'd say there's been very minor accidental victories. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Let me answer this right away. Any idea when the Paramount Plus Zorro series gets a release date? Isn't it out? You're talking about the one from France?
The one from France, I think, right?
And that's on Paramount. It's out. It's out.
It's just Paramount Plus. You know, it's such a quirky app, but
yeah,
I guess you could just check it out. And
yeah, I have not seen it myself. We did check out the trailer. It looked really cool. So also too, if you guys love Zorro and are new to the channel, we have a fantastic interview with the executive producer of the Amazon Prime series Zorro. So there is 10 episodes of Amazon Prime's Zorro on Prime right now. If you want to get your Zorro on, I recommend that TV show. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think what it is that it's available on Amazon. What is it called? The Paramount Plus France. So maybe that's why you can't really see it because I see it right now on the Paramount Plus French website.
So let's do this. Yeah, maybe you can do a little research. Let's go. Oh, you know what? I got an extra story for you guys. So check out on that research for us. Let me bring this this new story up. I think it's interesting, guys. It's nothing mind blowing, but you know, it's a little insight. It's a little insight. Some say she's great, others say she's not. I don't know. She was pretty beautiful back in the day. We'll see in a minute, Fletch. All right. Pop news item. Eva Mendes would only return to acting if it's alongside her husband, Ryan Gosling. And she says, I wasn't a great actress. Now, there was a minute. There was a good minute where Eva Mendes was in everything. I mean, she, from Training Day to what was it? The first, the Fast and the Furious, Will Smith movie. I mean, she was the hottest Latina for a good minute. She still got fans. But then she stopped acting. And so we want to know, ¿qué pasó? What happened? So this came up. I thought it was interesting. I was never in love with acting. I don't mean this in a self-deprecating way, but I wasn't a great actress, he says in an interview with the UK's Sunday's Times. I don't think I've ever heard on paper an actor or performer saying they weren't a great actress. And I want to get to that in a second because I have my thoughts. And there she is looking as beautiful as ever. She says the only way she could be convinced to return if it's alongside Ryan Gosling. It's been a decade since Mendes stepped aside from acting. Her last role was a small part in Gosling's feature directorial debut, Lost River. The actress's last credit, though, was lending a voice to the 2021 episode of Bluey. And she said, I was never in love with acting. I don't mean in a self-deprecating way, but I wasn't a great actress. I had my moments when I worked with really great people. Mendes says her best work was opposite Gosling in films like Lost River and The Place Beyond the Pines. I like Place Beyond the Pines. I like that one. He gets something out of me that's never been accessible before. Her 16-year career on screen, Mendes appeared in several films, including The Other Guys, Hitch, and Girl in Progress. Since then, she's focused on raising her and Gosling's 2 daughters and other career opportunities. However, she occasionally gives acting tips to Gosling, who has starred in films like Barbie, The Notebook, and La La Land. I would just simplify everything. I'm like, just make Barbie notice you. That's what Ken's all about. So then there was this desperation. He really loved that. I reminded him, he's literally walking out the door. Make Barbie notice you. Make Barbie fall in love with you. Okay. Well, I mean, that's cute. That's cute. All right. And we all remember her in Hitch and Other Guys. So here's a couple things. And listen, this is again to the naked eye, right? This is not mind-shattering news, but it's a little, there's a little insight here and some humility. And I gotta tell you, something that you just don't hear about enough. And that's actors, celebrities, and if they choose to walk away, but they're raising their family. And there's something to be said about that. And my hat's off to Mendes and Gosling. Because here is one thing I know. 2 actors in a family, you're not going to raise kids well. One has got to stop acting. That's for those kids to stay sane. One has to be raised full time by one of those parents. So much respect to Mendes. Now, this thing about her not being a great actress. Listen, many celebrities, many stars have made entire careers on being great at who they are. They know who they are. And I think that's what she means like, oh, I'm not like Meryl Streep, but I have my moments. And I would argue with what she does very well. And I think there's something to be said about an actor's this person's humility that should be a great lesson for younger talent coming up. Ziegler. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I got something in my bigote. This is called character. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. I would argue that the only thing I'd argue, Mendes, is that you actually do have a lot of adoring fans who would love to see you on the big screen again someday. But much props to you deciding to go and raise your family. That says a lot, and it's something that we don't get to see and hear a lot in Hollywood because we hear about scandal and the bad stuff too much from our celebrities or them telling us how to act and think. And I never think, especially nowadays in these political times, that actors who come out and take a stand on something, I don't ever think that they get the outcome that they desire. Well, once again, my hat's off to Miss Mendes. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let's bring in our brother coming on in here. What's up, bro? What do you think of Mendes, man? That's pretty nice. That's a nice little story.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I think the last movie I saw with her was like that Fast and the Furious one.
She's beautiful on screen, man. You know? But to step aside and raise your kids, and then Gosling is having like the career of careers, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
they're doing all right.
they're
They're not hurting.
yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. They're not hurting. So what are people saying in the chat?
Well, we got Instant Defense for $20 saying that Eva Mendes was in Holy Motors.
Okay. Oh, $20. Wow. Thank you so much. Instant Defense. Wow, we were hitting all kinds of goals tonight. Beautiful, man. It was in Holy Motors. What is that? I don't super chat again, but tell me what Holy Motors is. Instant Defense. And let's play you a special video of thanks.
And he's saying it's an art film.
Okay, that's on the list. Holy Motors. It's like I got movies to watch. I got a 2010 Bedeviled. I don't even think you're allowed to see it.
Which one?
Fletcher. Bedeviled. It's like a Korean horror.
I don't know.
Holy Motors. I'm just saying because
Is it an old Korean movie?
2010 from 2010.
Oh.
Okay, I wrote it down.
Okay.
All right, what else? Let's bang these out.
First row was Children of the Corn's Field of Terror.
Wow. Okay.
I think Eva was good on down to earth characters for sure. Crazy a bit saw her, and the other guys. Man, yeah, I remember the other guys.
To me, she was the better alternative than Rosario Dawson. I think she's like a Rosario Dawson that could actually act, and for me, she's a little more inviting. That's just me, a little more warm.
Wow. Eva's getting worried about all the time Ryan's spending with all those hot co-stars.
Oh gosh.
Watch the first time I saw her was Hitch with Will Smith. Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Oh, it was something in that movie. Yep.
Ruben My Nature says, to be fair, I don't recall her roles. I can't say I've heard anything special bad about her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I'd go watch Hitch for sure.
Yeah.
She's really cute in that.
I would love to save a minute to another movie with Ryan Gosling.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great. Yeah, I agree.
Reba Nature admire given the special temptation of the world acting grants you.
There it is. There it is. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Well, thanks again for the super chats, for all the new memberships. We got a couple of more that we're going to bang out. Oh, really? She made comments about Holly and Race when I read it earlier. What? Can you get me a screenshot of that? Bring it on back. Get it to Fletch. Whoa. Well, just tell me right now, was it based? Or was it a little wocoso? Okay. Right. We got a new segment kind of inspired by Fletch. Well, we're kind of like these videos I've been doing about daily reflections, right? And so
yeah, and that was my wife's suggestion on it. So
right. So
Fletch's
wife's suggestion, we're gonna call it Latino Zen. So let's we got a little intro, and I'll see you after this. All right, thanks, Fletch. Right, we have a little video introduction. Here we go. I was walking today with our dogs, and we came across somebody who had a dog, had a little boy, and was walking from one end of our front yard to the other on the sidewalk, public sidewalk. And the dog was a pit bull. My dogs are very little, very loud. And right away, we noticed the dog was not leashed. So my question here is, should your dogs be leashed out in the public? Well, the short answer is hell yes. Because I wanted to scream at that person. Scream, I shall ya. Scream at that person. It's a danger. It's a danger to the kid. It's a danger to the community. I wanted to get on my high horse at that moment. But then it's like, all right, I'm going to do my Latino Zen. And the mom got the dog on the leash. Thank God. She actually had the leash in her hand, which was really strange. And they walked away. And she was walking towards the end of our property. And she finally turned around and said to my other half, she apologized. And that's when my other half, Romy, saw her pocket to go. And what she said was, it's no problem. I would suggest leashing the dog because you don't want their dog to get hit by a car. I've seen a dog get hit by a car and die, and you don't never want to see that. And the woman stopped. She paused. She turned around. She got real quiet. And in our brief interaction with this woman, she's a very loud Latina. She got real quiet. She paused. She didn't say anything to Romy. She turned around with her and her child. Beautiful little child. A happy little child. I mean, really, it's kind of more afraid for the child. Like, this pit bull's so big, just knock off the kid into the street. And they went on their merry way. So, why, Paulie, should I have to leash my dog? It's little, it's old. You'll hear all kinds of explanations. We run into all kinds of owners. Oh, he's 16. We won't hurt a fly. He's 16. He's little. It's like, oh, no, we're good. And we'll walk across the street. Because it happens all the time. Okay, so what does a leash represent? A leash represents responsibility. Without a leash, you are lazy. And that's what we said to each other. That is laziness. That is entitlement. It says you do not care about anyone but yourself. You do not care about the community that you're in. The responsibility that it is to have and own a dog. A leash says you're responsible. Says you honor that relationship between man and dog. The discipline, the control, that takes responsibility. And it says, above all, that you are mindful of your community. So that opposite of laziness, responsibility, is a presence of mind. You're mindful. As a man who walks his dogs 2-3 times a day, I'm super mindful. Leashes, poopy bags, because I don't own these streets. I live in a neighborhood, and I got to be mindful. Why? Because I want to give a positive influence today to my community. I don't want to be a menace to my community. Why would I want to be a menace to my community with my pets? It says a lot about your character or lack thereof. And I would probably suggest not just owning a dog. But that is my Latino Zen. And I'd say, these are all responsibilities. But above all, presence of mind is a great thing. You like that?
Very professional.
Muy profesional. What a great show it's been. What a great show. Okay, what do we got as far as comments?
We got Bonzo says, Latino, have you ever seen the Spanish language movie Wild Tales with Damien Cifron? Put it on the list.
No, I haven't. Wait, hold on. I
Novella
gotta
Princess.
write that down.
Oh, you got it?
No. Wild Tales.
Wild Tales.
We got that 100 Years of Solitude coming out. We got to watch that. There's also the Midnight Family that just came out with Renata Vaca and Diego Calva. That's out. And then we are finishing the Eugenio Derbez Dracula TV show. The last one's coming out this Friday. This last episode was okay. It's still very entertaining. I just wanted to wrap it up. Then I'll probably do like a whole season review of it. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, Novella Princess member for 5 months says thank you for your positivity.
All right, Novella Princess, what's up, girl? No hay de qué.
John the Beard member of the channel says it's also a danger to the dog.
100%. That's what rocked that woman when Romy said that. Because Romy's, we do our little doggy business, and Romy runs into all types of people. People crazy, man. People crazy. All right, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
right
Romy.
there.
Great reply.
Right there.
Nice. Over, he says that, hey, Paulie Entertainment Weekly has her Latina comments. Nothing too major, but it's about her day. She was considered too ethnic, and now ethnic is popular with Hollywood.
Oh, interesting. Well, yeah, because when she came out, it was just, yeah. I'll read it. Maybe we'll do a side video on it. Okay.
Yeah, it's on your private chat.
Right.
All right.
There.
And we have Bonzo says again, I see dogs off the leash. Depends on the dog. If your dog well trained, it doesn't look threatening. I don't see a problem.
See, that's the thinking that, it's a little dog or it's so well trained. You never know what will set that dog off. More times than not, it's gonna be another dog. Because my dog, my little dogs, they just bark. You know what I mean? They'll get into the, or a cat, or a sound, a car driving by. I mean, I'm telling you, man, always rule the side of caution, man. You're just playing with fire. Go on.
Yeah, Ruben Isa is just getting Flaxos running down the street after a poop act has been blown away in the wing.
Man, we do our best, and we do pretty good to where we will, because we have poop, our bags with us all the time. When we're picking up after our own, and we see another poops that haven't been picked up, it's about once a day now. We'll pick up some extra poop. Go on. You gotta, man. You gotta. That's just not right. It's like, all right. Especially if they're like in the way. All right.
No dogs on leash. I appreciate the way you handle it in a certain city I live in Orange County. Saw dogs off a leash quite a bit, but something about some people being used to it from the old country.
Yeah. Yes. And you're absolutely right. And with here, raza, it's a trip, and we still got some of that old raza, outlook with dogs, and it's like we're too much in an urban area now to do that. You're not in a rancho, you're not in a pueblo, it's not the campo. It's just different, man. Okay.
I'd rather see a dog on a leash than a muscle.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Nice, man. Well, let me see. We got some emails, and oh, wait a minute. What is it?
Julissa also said, I was shocked with all the dog poop I saw on sidewalks in Santa Monica when I was visiting my brother-in-law this summer. Woo. That's harsh.
There is I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I got caught up in these other I got caught up in some emails you guys are sending me. Wow. Okay, we got a couple of people. Got some people who have emailed me. So I will be emailing you guys right afterwards. Thank you, members. Okay, go on.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Sean says that Evan Mendes interview originated from the UK Times.
All right. Well, thank you,
Nice.
man. ¿Qué más?
All right.
Okay, we got a text.
Okay.
Okay. And okay, so we got our first. Okay, we got all right. I'll here we go. We got a Your Monster movie reaction, and I've been asking for this from people, and it was indeed the mystery movie.
Okay.
And here's what they said. Melissa Barrera is hot, but she couldn't save the horrible movie Your Monster. That was the mystery movie tonight.
Oof.
Brutal.
Oof. Brutal. Nice. At least it starts positive, right?
Well, okay, so that's one thing. So we're gonna compile these because again, Rosa Potter really liked it coming out of Sundance, but
yeah. And did she see the final cut?
I don't know. You usually don't make a cut that's from really good to bad. Ay. Well, thank you for that viewer. I won't say who it is.
Nice.
So that's the early reaction, guys.
Wow.
I'm still gonna see it. You always got to decide for yourself, right?
Right.
Okay.
Check it out.
All right. I think we got Venom news early reaction Tuesday night here on the Slant. You're gonna get our exclusive video of the new Venom Last Dance. Rosa Parra is going to see it tomorrow afternoon. You're going to get the video first to the members. We're going to offer it to you guys for like the first 12 hours, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Then we'll make it public. I'm looking at some reactions in regards to first reactions praising the final film as a feast for fans, the most entertaining of the trilogy. Tom Hardy gives everything. And these are various snippets from a variety article that just came out. So it looks like it's a compilation of different reviewers.
All right, nice.
People
got a
on
consensus.
X, huge and epic. Here, let's just bring it up. Bring it up for you guys. Venom 3, Last Dance. I think I was one of the few people that liked the second one.
Yeah.
We had fun. Last Dance. There you go.
Nice.
And let me see. Digital Spy Editor says it's largely a funny and sweet road trip movie with Eddie and Venom living their Thelma and Louise fugitive dreams.
Okay.
Including car karaoke and dog rescuing.
Nice.
That's funny.
Thelma and Louise. That means that the ladies are going to like it?
I don't know. Adam Review praised it a huge, epic, and emotional finale. Hardy gives everything, and Sony has never been better. Well, you go from Madam Web, it's hard not to.
Right?
Yeah. Stunning action, satisfies with all 19 inches. Not just another Venom movie, it's one of the best comic book films ever. Whoa, ever. A fitting ending, setting up what's next. All right. I don't know. I mean, I don't know any of these people. We're gonna wait till Rosa checks it out. But looks like it's very positive.
Yeah, I did hear that a lot of people were looking forward to it. So it's and there's supposedly going to be some surprises at the end. You know, they did tease some. So
of course,
we'll see.
All right, you guys gonna go check it out? Let me know. Venom. You'll have our, like I said, our early reaction from Rosa Para, LatinoSlant.com. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the best comic book movie ever.
I mean, they had one of the best one in years already with the Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, I'm gonna check it out, man. I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Julius is with you. She says she hopes the Venom movie is good.
There you go. Okay, well, man, I think we hit all what we were gonna hit.
Oh, we hit all that we're gonna hit. Clip it.
Boom.
And
then some.
That's how we do.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's cool. It was a great show today. Also, if you guys catching it on the replay, please leave a comment. It does help with the algorithms in the interwebs. And subscribe to the LatinoSlant.com if you want to get stuff that, Paulie don't have time to cover on the show. And also from great interviews to great articles. Check it out.
Written really fast. We're working on a Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos music event. It looks like we're going to get this musician that I want. And he's got a direct lineage to Oaxaca. So I'm excited to see what kind of songs we can do. Look out for that. And we will be back live Friday, and we'll let you know who our guest is. I'm working on some guests.
Nice.
Always working for you guys. So there you go.
There we go.
There you go. Well, everyone, let me thank all the members. Jen, Julissa, Read by Nature. I'm just going down the list. Bonso, good to have you here. All you guys. Jaime, of course. AZ Cowboy 1. John the Beard. What's up, John? Novella Princess. This is fun, man. You guys got a lot of love here. Instant Defense for the $20. I mean, we got over 10 new members. We got super chats. We got our members hanging out with us. I think people were having fun. What do you think? You think people were having fun, enjoying themselves?
I think people were having a great time. Yes.
Wah says Hitch was peak. You might be right.
Was it? Okay.
Bootzilla first saw her in All About the Benjamins. Oh my God, that movie. Wow. She was telling you, man.
Nice.
She goes back.
Yeah.
Wow.
But Julissa said
right.
It's just been 16 months.
Wow.
That's a great show as always.
Wow. Thank you so much, dude. You just became a sponsor. Look at that.
Nice.
Like a instant what do you call it? Boom. Instant boom. Okay, yeah. There you go. What's up, Mark? What's up, buddy? Thanks for a great show. How you doing, man? Good to see you, man. It's Booth. Harvey Weinstein's cancer. Should anyone care? Doesn't he have family members? I don't want to get deep on this, but just hope that he can find some.
It's never too late for retribution.
I think that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah. All right, man. Good to see you. Well, this is another one for the books in regards to you guys in attendance. And if this is your first time, can you make sure you are subscribed to our channel? We do got videos all the time, almost every day. And I think that's it. I think we're gonna go out with a hard R.
All right.
Excuse me, hard out.
Hard R. Hard R. R.
R.
Latino France.
Always time.
Always time.
Always time, my friend.
Yeah. And you can still turn it around and ask for forgiveness of the victims. And I'm sure the victims will probably, it's up to them.
That's it.
That's it.
That's a lot. It's a lot. All right. We need an outro.
Hasta la chow chow.
Hasta la chow chow. Yeah, you got that Chihuahuas in Spain outro from Midnight's Edge Espanol. We need a.
You need like a dancing bandit
Mexican
and Mr. Buck.
And good night.